Namaste, good evening.
Namaste and welcome everybody. We're happy to have you here.
Welcome to the first session of 10 weeks Sahaja Yoga meditation course.
And we'd like to thank the Indian Embassy for enabling this.
So I am Soma and I work as a kindergarten teacher in Vienna since a long time.
And I'm Hans and I work as a process and project management for an Austrian steel company.
So we are both practicing Sahaja Yoga since 30 years and we have been married since 24 years now.
And the two of us will be accompanying you through these 10 sessions that we have advertised. And we'll always be introducing you and giving you some information. But we'll also be inviting some of our friends who are long-standing Sahaja Yoga practitioners to present you some rather interesting topics as we go along. So you'll get to know some of these people as well.
So in these 10 weeks, we will tell you the basic knowledge of Sahaja Yoga, and we hope you find this interesting. But these courses will focus mainly on the experience of meditation. So every session will have a meditative part, and we will give you tips how to meditate at home.
And our main motivation is to enable you to get a deep meditative experience. We are not professional podcasters or broadcasters, so we are struggling with the technology to make this happen. But it's not about that. It's about a meditative experience and getting you to learn something new, something rather interesting. And also to help the interaction, what we thought you'll find in the webinar jam, there's a chat function. So if you have any questions, feel free to post those questions there. And we have Georg in the background who can answer those questions online, or once we've done our presentations, he can bring some of those questions also into the audio and we can discuss them live in this podcast.
The time is very appropriate. Not only it is International Yoga Day today, it is also the 50th anniversary of Sahaja Yoga since its founding.
And I guess that's a good time to switch to the topic. What is Sahaja Yoga? And for that, we've prepared a couple of slides. So I just switch from the camera to this slide. And this is quite simple. So Sahaja Yoga was developed as a simple and accessible method by Sri Mataji, who we will introduce to you later. It's the founder of Sahaja Yoga on the picture that you saw at the beginning. And Sahaja Yoga is made of 3 parts. Saha means with, Ja means born, and Yoga means connection. So it's a connection that is born within us. A few months back, I spoke to Professor Bucher. He's a professor for education and theology in Salzburg, and he wrote a book on spiritual psychology. And he explains that he defines spirituality as a connection to yourself, to the nature and the surroundings, to society and people, and to a transcendent form, being it something divine or a collective unconscious. And I replied to him saying that, well, Sahaja Yoga focuses on the connection to the self. And from that, we then start understanding and exploring the other aspects. But Sahaja Yoga is primarily about self-knowledge. And in its simplicity, Sahaja Yoga is a living process. And here's where I'd like to introduce you to a short video from Sri Mataji.
Now, this is a living process. Any living process, a sort of a flower becoming a fruit. You can see very clearly a flower becoming a fruit is a living process. You cannot pay to the tree or to the Mother Earth, all right, we pay you so much money, now you give us fruits. Money is not understood by living processes. I mean, supposing somebody is having a breathing trouble and you show him some money, will he stop breathing trouble? Will he be able to stop? No. It's a living process. Again, I say it's a living process. And when it is a living process, you cannot pay for it, nor can you put in any effort for it. It is effortless. Sahaj also means effortless. Spontaneous, effortlessly, it should work out. You don't have to put in effort like standing on your head or going to Himalayas. There's no need to do all that. There's no need to fast. There's no need to torture your body in any way.
So Srimataji explains that Sahaja Yoga is something effortless, something rather spontaneous. And the word Sahaja means born within, but it also means simple and spontaneous, just as a living process. But the question is, what drives us to seek something spiritual? Oma, maybe you can give us a few words about that.
Okay. So, what is man's destiny? Yeah. Why is modern day man under such stress and tension? What is he searching for? So, man is always searching for something he has only a glimpse of joy that comes from the spirit, the Atma, or the self. And Sahaja Yoga is a way to realize yourself, your own spirit, the Atma. It's the way to get connected with your spirit, with the all-pervading power which has created all of us. It's the connection between the Atma and the all-pervading power. This power is existing everywhere, throughout the universe. It's all-pervading. It's all-knowledgeable. It organizes everything, which does all the living work, from making a seed sprout to make our heart beat. And today we will connect ourselves to this all-pervading power through Sahaja Yoga meditation.
And the question is, what is meditation? And you might have heard, because of this effortless principle, because it's a living process, it happens also in a very organic way. And as such, we don't see meditation as an activity, but as a state. It's a state of inner balance, a state of peace, a state of silence in the mind. And we call that state, in its first form, thoughtless awareness. And as Soma mentioned, we will try that out today. So today's about making that connection. So we will have a practical exercise. But just for the sake of explaining a few concepts, the idea of thoughtless awareness means you can have a completely clear mind where you can stop thinking if you want, where we go a little step beyond the mind, which is limited, and where we can, just as I can control the movements of my body, I can also control the movements of my thoughts. And let's choose another excerpt on the video for that.
But self-realization is the thing where you become the master. The master is sitting behind and watching the driver, the left and the right, the brake and the accelerator in himself, and managing it nicely without doing anything. That's what is self-realization. And that has to happen. Then there is a balance automatically achieved. You don't have to do anything about it. In the beginning also, you may have to work. I wouldn't say, but many people I've seen, they just get realization and are there. So this is the first state where you reach what we call the thoughtless awareness. And then the second is nirvikalpa, where you become doubtlessly aware. You become an expert. You don't have to even talk about it. It can work out. So that's what is the state we have to achieve. So you become the source of joy. Joy is a thing beyond happiness and unhappiness. When the ego is pampered, we feel happy. When it is disturbed, we feel unhappy. Joy is beyond happiness and unhappiness. It has no duality. It's a state where you are in a joyous state. You watch everything in a joyous state.
Okay, so to summarize, meditation we see is something innate, it's about balance, it's effortless, it's living, and it's about clearing the mind and achieving a state of joy. But now you've seen 3 clips from Shrimataji, so it's probably a good time to introduce you and talk a little bit about Shrimataji, who is the founder of Sahaja Yoga. And for that, I'll show a couple of pictures. And I think, as Shrimataji is from India, I'll hand over to Soma for this topic.
Shrimataji Nirmala Devi was born in 21st of March 1923 in the exact middle of India in Chindwara. Her birth name was Nirmala Salve, but she is more popularly referred to as Shrimataji, meaning loving mother. Shrimataji's family was active in Indian freedom movement.
Then at the age of 7 years, I happened to go with my father to Mahatma Gandhi. He was about 70 miles living with us, but the first time he took me down. And Mahatma Gandhi liked me very much. He said, leave this child with me. So I had not even taken clothes or anything. I stayed on. Then my father sent me everything with him. And he was very fond of me, but I was a little girl. But he understood that there was something about me. He consulted me on very serious problems sometimes, surprisingly. Like one day he wanted to make the prayer book all right. So he asked me how should I put the series and all that. So I told me how to put the series, and he put the series in that way. I used to go back for my school and again go back to Gandhiji every year like that. And he called me Nepali. He gave me a name Nepali. Everybody used to call me Nepali that time. Then I grew up with him very intimately. He was a very, very kind person for children, otherwise an extremely strict man, with himself and with others, very strict, a big disciplinarian. And he would make everybody get up at 4 o'clock, have your baths, everything be ready for your morning prayers at 5 o'clock, you see, and he used to walk very fast. I also learned walking fast with him. In his company I had to walk.
Yeah, so Shrimataji was talking about Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the nation. And Shrimataji spent time in Gandhiji's ashram from a very young age. And while studying medicine, Shrimataji became a youth leader actively involved in Mahatma Gandhi's Quit India movement. In 1947, Shrimataji married Sir C.P. Srivastava, who later on received high awards such as Padma Vibhushan in 2007 and was elected Secretary General of the Indian and International Maritime Organization. After Shrimataji has educated her 2 daughters, she then went on to establish Sahaja Yoga.
And Sahaja Yoga began in 1970 on the 5th of May in the seaside town of Nagaur. And Shrimataji, becoming concerned with the spiritual ascent of mankind, sat in meditation and experienced the opening of the Sahasrara. That's the energy center of the limbic area on the crown of our head. After this event, Shrimataji traveled the world and spread this simple technique of Sahaja Yoga and held over 3,000 speeches that are largely available on the internet, and we'll add a link at the end of the session in the chat to those speeches. Shrimataji has received numerous awards throughout her life. She has been appointed, just as examples, as an honorary member of the Petrovskaya Academy of Art and Science in 1993. She was declared Personality of the Year by the Italian government in 1986. And she carries an honorary doctorate in cognitive science from the Ecological University of Bucharest. Shri Mataji passed away in 2011, but her work lives on in a unique method of spiritual emancipation. Shri Mataji has made spirituality very simple and accessible to everyone, and this is the system we would like to introduce to you now. And the next slide is a chart which is very common in Sahaja Yoga and how we explain it. And it goes back to Indian teachings, which are partly ancient, but they have been adapted to make them more universal. And Soma, maybe you can tell us a bit about this system.
Yeah, the diagram, what you see actually is about our subtle system. And I will talk first about Kundalini energy. That's the energy which you see in the diagram, which resides in the triangular bone, which is between the red and the yellow chakras, or what we call our energy center there is situated. Yeah. And Kundalini energy resides inside this triangular bone called the sacrum bone. Yeah, in Greek language, it's sacrum, but it means sacred, actually. And Kundalini energy is a divine motherly energy. It is the reflection of the all-pervading power within all of us. It's resting in 3.5 coil. It lies in dormant condition within all of us until it is awakened, but it needs to be awakened. And this energy is very caring and loving and knows everything about us. Self-realization takes place when this energy, this Kundalini energy, rises to the crown of our head, connecting to the all-pervading power. And people can feel cool or warm breeze on the top of the head or on the palm. The knowledge of Kundalini is ancient, and Shri Mataji has opened this knowledge to everyone through Sahaja Yoga. Sahaja Yoga brings balance in our life, which is very important in this modern hectic lifestyle. And research shows that Sahaja Yoga reduces stress and fear and increases emotional stability, and also improves concentration, and it gives us a very good social responsibility. And we will experience this awakening of Kundalini energy through our session today.
And in addition to the power, the energy of the Kundalini and the 7 energy centers or chakras that you can see, you can also see 3 channels rising vertically. On the left, you see a blue channel, and on the right, you see a yellow channel. These both correspond to our sympathetic nervous system. The left sympathetic nervous system, or the blue channel, is the cool and the emotional side, whilst the yellow right sympathetic nervous system is the active and hot side. And this is our yin and yang. It's the cool and the hot. It's the moon and the sun. It's the past and the future, the passive and the active, the emotional, the physical. And is a duality that we need to operate in normal life. But if you follow them up to the top, you find that they, at the 6th chakra, they cross, and then they end in kind of balloons, which are finite, which are limited. So these are, let's say, more the human operation. And if you look in the center channel, which corresponds to the parasympathetic nervous system, you can see that this transcends it when it rises up vertically. it goes beyond our mind. It goes above the sixth chakra, above the thought level, and accesses the seventh chakra, which is physically our limbic system. And this is the channel of balance of the present. And Sahaja Yoga is about awakening that. And I'd like to use a little video to show you that. Okay, someone would just like to say more about the seven centers.
So there are 7 centers. I just talked about Kundalini energy, but Hans took over for the 3 channels. So I would shortly would like to say about the 7 centers, that is energy centers or the chakras, which are within us. And they have different names, starting from Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Navi, Anahata, Vishuddhi, Agya, and the topmost center, Sahasrara, where you feel the cool breeze from. These centers, they open or get awakened when Kundalini energy passes through. And these centers also get their qualities when it opens. For example, when the third center, what you see as green center, called Nabi chakra, when it gets awakened, we feel the quality of peace and satisfaction. So these chakras are also in our brain, that's in our limbic area, and also on our fingertips, where we can feel them. So all this learning of more about this chakra, we will go in details in different sessions, which will come afterwards.
Yeah, so in each of the following sessions, we will, like next week, we will hear more about the Kundalini from somebody who's actually written about it. Then we'll hear more about 3 channels. And then we'll spend a session on each chakra and learn a bit more about each energy center. And we have now a nice little animated video, which has been around for quite some time. I'm not sure who made it, but it's a very practical way of summarizing the system of chakras and nadis and the Kundalini. So what you see here is a man meditating, showing now his physical nervous system and now his subtle system as explained in the scriptures. And at the base of the spine, you see the triangle pulsating, which is the beginning of the Kundalini awakening. And as the Kundalini awakens, it passes through the center channel, awakening the parasympathetic nervous system, awakening the chakras or enlightening the energy centers, and then coming out at the top of the head. And that's what you normally feel as a cool breeze or a warm breeze, or as an energy coming out of your head. And with that step, you will feel the experience on your central nervous system. So this experience is about the awakening of an energy that gives us something we cannot achieve by willpower, because the parasympathetic nervous system is not accessible by effort. So it is a very spontaneous happening. And that's the interesting aspect. But I'd like to point out 2 more aspects that are quite central to Sahaja Yoga. And one is that of the spirit. So we saw the 3 channels, we saw the energy, and there's an ancient question is, what is the seat of the soul? Where is the soul? And in Sahaja Yoga, the explanation is that it's in the heart, in the left heart. And it's when this gets awakened that we perceive our self in a new way, and that self is described in Sanskrit with 3 words. That's Sat, Chit, Ananda. Truth, awareness, and bliss or joy. And it's actually that joy that carries us forward, that makes us enjoy our own being in meditation. It's also a joy that transcends happiness or sadness. A second central concept of Sahaja Yoga is the thoughtless awareness. It's when the energy rises above the 6th chakra and you feel it above your head. Interestingly enough, this part of the head is called the fontanelle bone, which means the fountain. So somehow the doctors naming the bones had an intuition. And when the energy goes beyond the mind, you then have this capacity we mentioned of becoming thoughtlessly aware. And that is a awareness where the mind is clear, there is no noise that you don't want, and you perceive things in a new way, in a very sharp way, and you have more space to perceive yourself, mainly. And we have again a little excerpt from Srimataji that she explains thoughtless awareness.
Yes, it is there. And not only that, but you go beyond your mind, because you reach a state which is called as thoughtless awareness. Thoughtless awareness. You are aware, but there is no thought. For example, a thought rises within us, and then it falls, then another thought rises, it falls. We live either in the past or in the future. At the cusp of these thoughts, we are dancing all the time. So when the Kundalini rises, these thoughts become lean. And there's a space in between which is the present. It's in Sanskrit is called as Vilamba. So when the Kundalini rises, you become thoughtless. If you want to think, you can think it. But if you don't want to think, you are in thoughtless awareness. That's the Samadhi state. That's the state of what you call is the meditative state, where first is called as thoughtless awareness. In Sanskrit is called as Nirvichar Samadhi.
Okay, so that's the introduction where we went through a few key topics. I looked in the chat. I didn't see any questions there. So I suggest we move forward. Now we'd actually move on to the meditation exercise. So this is the real reason why we're together today. And we'll go together with you through an exercise that takes about 10 minutes. And we'll do this exercise together with our eyes closed and with the attention inside. And as we do the exercise, we'll play a video where Srimataji guides you through the meditation. But because we'll have our eyes closed, I will just demonstrate what we're going to do so you know what to do with your hands. So the way you sit, you can sit for Sahaja Yoga, you can sit on the floor or you can sit on a chair. The main thing is it is comfortable. Feel relaxed, feel positive. And then place your hands on your laps with the palm upwards. The reason is we may well feel an energy or a breeze in our palms. That's often the first indication. You know, the system we explained is universal, but each person makes his own experience of self-realization, as we call it. So it's a very personal experience. And then we will, when we start the meditation, we'll close the eyes, and I will just lead you through the hand movements so you can follow the instructions that Srimataji then gives. First, we will put the right hand on the heart, which is the seat of the spirit. And here we will ask the question 3 times, am I the spirit? Am I the self? Am I the Atma? Then we will put, so the right hand on the left side of the body. Then we will put the right hand down on the upper part of the abdomen. And this is the center of guruship, of mastership. And a principle of Sahaja Yoga is that we are our own master. So here we'll ask the question, am I my own master? Then we will put the hand down in the lower part of the abdomen and push the hand in a bit. This is the center of pure knowledge. So here we will ask, may I have the pure knowledge? And the pure knowledge is, according to Sahaja Yoga, the knowledge of the divine or the knowledge of the awakening of the Kundalini. So the knowledge of the union, the connection that the Kundalini enables. And Here we'll ask the question around 6 times because this plexus has 6 petals. This is usually where the Kundalini starts moving. So we will then support the upward movement, go back to the upper part of the abdomen, and here we will confirm that I am my own master around 10 times. Then we'll go up to the left heart, and here we'll confirm the question from before. I am the spirit around 12 times, because the energy center has exactly 12 subplexuses. Then we will move the right hand up to the left. We call it the left Vishuddhi. It's where the shoulder joins the neck on the left side. And you kind of clasp that shoulder part. You can turn the head slightly to the right. And here, the affirmation we use will be, I am not guilty. The idea being that self-realization is a very significant and beautiful experience, and we should feel very positive about ourselves. Then we will put the right hand on the forehead, and you can clasp the forehead a little bit as if you had a headache. And here the affirmation is an interesting one. It's I forgive. So as we feel positively placed towards ourselves, we should also have the confidence to be positively placed towards others and have no grudge. So I forgive. Here it's not important how many times, but from the heart. Then we will put the hand on the back of our head, and this is the reverse. It's the request for forgiveness. And finally, we will put the hand on the top of our head on the Sahasrara. And what you do is you stretch back your fingers and put the center of the palm on the fontanelle bone. And you can push quite hard. And then you make 7 circles on your scalp clockwise. And while you push hard, so that kind of massages the fontanelle bone. And we'll do that 7 times slowly, while each time we request our self-realization, which is the awakening of the Kundalini up to this point. And then we'll see if we actually feel something. So this is the experiment for today. So I'll start the video where Srimataji guides you through this meditation, as she has many, many times. And all you really have to do is sit comfortably, be open-minded, as a scientist would experiment with something and be curious about the outcome. And keep your attention on yourself in the sense, watch yourself, see what happens. So if you're all ready, we'll do this key part of today's session.
Keep your eyes closed. First of all, please put your right hand on your heart. All the time the left hand is towards me. Now, here you have to say, in your heart, with all sincerity, Mother, am I the spirit? Ask the question 3 times in your heart. This is a very fundamental question. Now bring the right hand on to the left hand side of your stomach, in the upper part. Here press it. Now this is the center of your mastery, your guidance, your Guru Tattva as they say. So ask a question, Mother, am I my own master? This is a question to be asked 3 times. Mother, am I my own master? Now, bring your right hand down below in the lower part of the abdomen. Now, this is the center from which all the divine work is done. All the pure work is done. So to ask 6 times, because this center has got 6 petals. Mother, please give me pure knowledge. 6 times you just ask. As a result of this asking, the Kundalini starts getting awakened. Now to help the Kundalini to rise, you have to cooperate with her. So please put your right hand on the left hand side in the upper part of your abdomen and press it on the stomach. Now here you have to say with full confidence to help the Kundalini to rise, Mother, I am my own master. This you have to say 10 times. These are the 10 commandments which you have to say. That, Mother, I am my own master. Now, 10 times with full confidence. Now, please raise your right hand to your heart. Now, here you have to say, again with full confidence, Mother, I am the Spirit. This is the truth. You are the Spirit. But you have to say with full confidence, Mother, I am the Spirit. This you have to say 12 times. Now one has to know that God Almighty is the ocean of love. But above all, He is the ocean of forgiveness. So He forgives. Whatever wrong you do, He forgives. So don't feel guilty and put your right hand across on the left hand side in the corner which is made by your neck and your shoulder. Now here you have to say, again with full confidence, 16 times, Mother, I am not guilty. Please say it. Mother, I am not guilty. 16 times. I am not guilty at all. Please say it. Please say it. Now raise your hand across on your forehead. And it's a very important center. Here you have to say from your heart, Mother, I forgive everyone. Please say it from your heart. How many times is not the point. Mother, I forgive everyone. Now, some would say that it's very difficult to forgive. But it's a myth that we do not forgive or we forgive. We do not do anything in both the cases. But if we don't forgive, then we play into wrong hands. So please say from your heart, Mother, I forgive everyone. Now please take your hand on the back agya, the same center, on the back side of your head and allow your head to rest on it and push it back a little bit. Now here, you have to say, for your satisfaction, because you always feel guilty, that, O Divine, if I have done anything wrong, please forgive me. Please forgive me. From your heart. Stretch your hand fully and put your center of your palm on top of the fontanelle bone area, which was a very soft bone in your childhood. Press it hard. Press hard your scalp. Now you have to move it 7 times, saying one thing, which you have to ask for. Mother, please give us my self-realization. Because I cannot force on you. So you have to ask for it. 7 times, press it hard and move it 7 times. Very hard. Slowly. Saying that.
So now we put all our attention on the top of our head and try to go deep down in meditation. We will listen to a Hindi devotional song. It's called Jago Kundalini Ma. Jago Kundalini Ma, Karo Hum Pe Kripa. The meaning of the song is, Awaken Mother Kundalini, bestow your grace upon all of us. Please shed light on the sleeping soul. And please bring light in all of us. Awaken Mother Kundalini.
करो सब पे कृपा जागो
So let me briefly switch to the next slide, which is how to meditate at home. So you can meditate with music, or you can meditate silently. But the question is, up to, let's say, next week, we have a session on Kundalini next time, on Saturday, at 6 o'clock. You can use the same link to access. But what we would propose is that for this coming week, give yourself the opportunity to strengthen what you felt today during the exercise. This exercise we do is the initial awakening, and usually the Kundalini sprouts in a subtle way that you feel, everybody feels in a different way. And it's sometimes very powerful, sometimes very subtle. But it's a living process, and just as a plant needs to grow, we need to nurture it. That's what we do with the meditation. And to meditate, you can simply, as we did, sit comfortably, either on the floor or in a chair, with your hands upright. And I will send a link to in the chat to a WordPress blog where you can then download a picture. It does help to have the picture of Sri Mataji in front of you, as it emanates the power that awakens the Kundalini. And then watch yourself, watch your thoughts, put your attention inside, and if your thoughts get less, then you can close your eyes. And the first technique of meditation is the desire. The Kundalini only rises if you want it. So if you sit in meditation with the desire to repeat and deepen the experience you made today, that's the first trigger for the Kundalini to respond. And next week we'll continue from there and see how you went with that. And now we'll put back on the video on the camera to say bye-bye. So that was our first session. As mentioned, I think we proved the point. We are not perfect broadcasters. So a bit too much music at the beginning and too less music at the end. The blame goes on me because I have the technology here next to me. But again, it's about an experience. So we hope that in this simple exercise, you could feel something awakening, and everybody will have their own experience. It's a very personal experience, and it's also a very personal decision to deepen it or not. And we have further sessions to deepen it. I will put a link in the chat to a blog where in a couple of hours there will be some follow-up information you can download. A bit more about the subtle system. There'll be a chakra chart, and I'll put a picture of Sri Mataji for you. And obviously keep an eye on the Facebook page of the Indian Embassy, because they will also post a follow-up invitation for the next session. And feel free to forward the link to anybody you feel may be interested.
Okay, so thank you for joining this session. And we hope that you liked the session and you felt something, maybe cool or warm on the top of your hands or on the top of your head or on the fingertips. That's the sign that your energy is working. So you can grow in this process and you can follow our further sessions. And we personally thank the Embassy of India, Vienna, to organize this and to give us the opportunity to present Sahaja Yoga on their platform. And bye for now. Namaste, and see you again next week.
Okay, see you again next week, and enjoy your meditation. Let's see how it goes. Okay. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye bye.